Well, he attack me. But Jaden Chase, they have to make the fans them know what really are going on.
Blessings Nation, and now welcome to the channel. Yeah, man, Jaden Chase, and then one that we're going to bring on another reason on the topic of current affairs. So if you're new to the channel, well, I'm suggesting that you click the subscribe icon and of course, let your voice be heard. Like and share the video, and yes, drop a comment in the comment section. Now, let's get right into the reasoning. Now, Nation, the Jamaica Constabulary Force is considering this another major victory against organized crime syndicates. But it is also a moment of disgrace for the Constabulary Force, as 4 members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force were arrested, charged, and fired for their alleged role as members of the alleged most feared Clarendon crime syndicate called the Ranko Organization. It has long been stated by citizens and by even Indicom that the criminal element resides within the Constabulary Force itself. Now they have confirmed this. I'm going to hear from yourself, then we'll continue reasoning. Look and listen.
This investigation started when a series of robberies were reported which caused us to suspect police involvement. As a consequence, the Counterterrorism and Organized Crime Investigation Branch, along with the Criminal Investigation Branch and other formations within the Jamaica Constabulary Force, conducted a joint investigation into alleged breaches of the Criminal Justice Suppression of Criminal Organization Act, commonly called the anti-crime legislation. The investigation covered the period between 2019 and 2021 against members of the Ranko gang, which included police and civilian operating out of Clarendon. Further inquiries into the operation of the gang revealed that between 2019 and 2021, the gang members committed several crimes across the parishes of Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, St. Catherine, St. Mary, Trelawney, Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. James. These crimes include shootings, burglary, robbery with aggravation, illegal possession of firearms, abduction, shop breaking and larceny, unlawful possession of property, conspiracy to murder, and malicious destruction of property. We have identified 27 members of the gang, which include at least 8 members of the security force. In June 2021, the police, acting on information, commenced investigation into a plot to kill David Henry, O.C. Kochi, a member of the gang accused of being an informer to the police. The plot was uncovered, which led to the fatal shooting by the police of Kevron Saman, otherwise called Siva, who was second in command of this gang. 2 firearms were recovered from that incident. Constable Tafara Silveira, attached to the St. Andrew South Division, who is identified as the leader of the gang, along with Mark Burnett and Christopher Robinson, were charged with conspiracy to murder. And we are also appealing to the following person to turn themselves into the police by Monday, the 28th of March 2022. Adrian Thompson, O.C. Fry of a Savannah address in Maypen. Courtney Simmet, O.C. Blade of Maypen Clarendon. Maya Gay Bent of Corn Peace District. Constable Floyd Robert Allen, O.C. Mucky. Kwan, who works at one of the toll plaza. Person with information can call Crime Stop at 311-811 or the coordination desk at the National Strategic Anti-Gang Unit.
Of course, Nation, this is a double-edged sword for the JCF. Of course, it is a victory against organized crime and a victory for the hard-working men and women of law enforcement. It has long been said that the corrupt actions of some have made it hard for hard-working men and women who are part of law enforcement to carry out their day-to-day objectives. And maybe that is also why, for residents and citizens residing on the island, it is always as if law enforcement is never doing enough. It is almost like criminal syndicates are always one step ahead of the investigators tasked with apprehending them. Well, in this case, the DCP, I make we know why. The Deputy Commissioner of Police has stated why. And this is why the people emphasize that investigations must be done. And law enforcement officers should not just go through communities and treat everybody as criminals. Because if it wasn't for the investigations, them would know say members of law enforcement were involved with this criminal organization. If it wasn't for the detectives, the investigators, and of course, the regular police where do them regular patrol in the area, everything work hand in hand. But think about it, you cannot yield these results from just putting communities under state of emergency or zones of special operations. Because the situation is diverse. Remember, crime ranges from petty crime to serious crime. And at different measures and protocols catch these different type of criminals. Well, the people opinion is clear upon that one. The criminal element clearly exists within the force itself. And the force needs to take a hard look within the force itself. Numerous officers have been held overseas, and international authorities have stated that these individuals are considered as even heads of these criminal organizations. An 18-year veteran was caught and charged as being the leader of a criminal syndicate, and also for smuggling. These are not petty crimes. These are serious crimes. And the fact that their involvement is known to international authorities, that means local counterparts should be aware of what is taking place. And the very fact that we have hardworking men and women who have stated that even though the pay is not what they would want it to be, and though the hours are extremely long, and though the constant threat of danger is always lurking, every morning and every night, when I'm off for work, them go at the station, them turn up, them sign in. And to think that working alongside them is the very same criminal element that they have been tasked with apprehending. Think about it. I feel like the hardworking, law-abiding members of the security force stand up and don't make a few individuals put the entire force under siege. These individuals have already given the force a bad name. And the truth is, the system will work off a balance. So as long as the criminal element exists, the world are going to need hardworking men and women within law enforcement. People out there on the island to want crime and violence, stop them now patrol the streets. Are these individuals out there do it? And of course, you know if you're out there, you can see it. You hear the news, you read the papers. It's a hard task. It's not easy. So I feel like, of course, high command owe it to the individuals on the front line to make sure, say, while fighting the criminal element, they don't have to be forced to be working with the criminal element. Boy, when it comes to them, recommend numerous officers. High command do nothing. So I say if these individuals were not caught directly, caught up in the investigations, well, who knows? One thing we can state though, if the police force finds officers caught and catch them red-handed in a criminal act, the law is the law. But in the come and say, when certain disciplinary action is recommended based on the actions of certain officers. You know, maybe the high commander overlook it, but we have to keep in mind that it's a slippery slope. And when this is excused and that is excused, and it just continue, and the offenses get worse and worse. So it go from name calling, so it move from verbal to physical, and that happen quickly. If you touch an officer on the shoulder while in a heated conversation, if him choose, him can say assault. But did you know that it's not necessarily the same if situations are reversed? And it's right across the globe. Yeah, only for people that talk about the climate and, you know what I mean, the only part of things just seem out of the control of regular people. Even though as them say it impact the lives of all. But we now work on the things that we can work on right now. Like equality, rights, justice, things of that nature. Situations that we can address now. We don't have to wait 600 years or 50 years or 40 years. But legislation we can pass right now. We can protect the rights of citizens. We now work on things like corruption within the force. We now work on the fact that the Integrity Commission not seem like them have no powers. Why it not seem like Indicom have no powers? Why it seem like when political officials will speak out for the rights of the people, it's almost like you don't need the opposition. If them come from a different party, you don't need them opposition for silence them, because them own party silence them. And then you hear them make no more of them type of talk. The type of talk that get people to say, yo, wait, that brother here. It sound like, you know, like him and preach from the people's point of view. And after they started them talk, they after all of a sudden, then, you know what I mean, them just go silent. Like somebody tell them, say, yo, watch you know? Low off of that. Those no pay that no mind. You know, talk to me in the comment section. You know the sentiments, and for those who don't, my sentiments for you and yours, of course, for to live, love, and prosper, and for to stay tuned until the reason again. Remember to like and share the video. Drop a comment in the comment section. You know what I mean? Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And until the reason again, my sentiments for you and yours, you know the thing. Live, love, and prosper, and stay tuned.